Hello everyone. Today I'll be discussing the topic of low contrast text. This topic within accessibility relates to not only our use of text in presentations or documents, but in the websites that we may use to supplement our material. We know that low contrast text is bad for usability. Low contrast text is used for many reasons. A lot of websites will use lower contrast text to make say it's packed full of information. They will make it look much sleeker, less busy. They will also just do it to make the site look more modern, and to just to give it a nicer look, a cleaner look. However, this use of low contrast text takes a big toll on the user's experience. If the user has any vision issues, or if, and I'm going to go into a little bit more of issues that would arise for using low contrast text, but generally the legibility suffers. The user is not able to navigate or to let alone see the text. Discoverability and findability are reduced within the site, within the document, within the presentation. Users' confidence is diminished because they are unable to see or to read. With mobile phones becoming more popular, and I know my students use them constantly, as if they're just a computer, this low contrast text doesn't allow for the transfer to a mobile phone to be able to be seen. So not only does the text now get 10 times smaller, but it's the glare on the phone, the size, the shape. It just becomes way harder to see. The accessibility is severely reduced for users with low vision and cognitive impairments. We know that, and I have an example here on a website that I'd found. This website shows an example of the 3 types of color blindness. Now, someone with red and green color blindness may only see what you see here. This just gray, all one in the same family of gray. You can imagine now, if you're using a text that it falls in within that shade, and they can't see the colors maybe that are behind it, that it's all going to look exactly the same. It's going to be very difficult to read, to see. So it's important that you take into account, yeah, you can see it, but maybe someone else can't. This website I found specifically to be very helpful in understanding this a little bit more. That it just really goes into the impact of our decision. And then if you see here, I have other websites up as well that I found to be very helpful too. Looking at color contrast check. So your foreground color is going to be a certain color versus your background color. You can test it to see if it's going to work on that background. So you can see obviously it's failing here because that light gray on a white background isn't going to work. But as you get darker, you're going to start to see it better, and it's gonna be more accessible. And then just some more information about low contrast. And then if we look at the PowerPoint, which is something that I know a lot of us use, I use it for all of my classes that I teach. I use pictures as backgrounds very often. I find it to be a way to keep to draw the attention of the student in, to kind of keep them engaged in the lecture that's going on, because they see the picture and they tend to look at it and see it and maybe kind of relate the material back to the text or to the PowerPoint, and they're able to understand it better. However, the problem I ran into a lot when using picture backgrounds, I found that text was sometimes hard to see. So I found a way to. It's time consuming in a sense if you're doing a lot of slides. But on this slide specifically, you can see I put a large black font. High contrast text is easier to see. And I put a glow effect on it. So in order to do that, and in order to put the picture in the background, you go to Format Background. It pops up this sidebar here. And then when you click the text, it takes you to a formatting option, which then I go to Text Options, and then I click this A here. I find what color or what glow effect might work the best, and it varies picture to picture. But you can adjust the size of the glow. Let me get this highlighted here. You can adjust the size of the glow to fit the picture that's the background. So I tend to usually stick around about the 9 to 10 points of glow, and then the transparency, depending on the color, I will raise or lower. And with this slide specifically, with this picture, it's easier to have the transparency at 0%, because here on this low contrast example, it's gray text on a pretty much gray background. With a transparency of 44%, the glow is at 16, and you can see it's relatively hard to see. That's my little presentation on low contrast text. As I said, I'll link in the discussion post the websites that I used to reference this presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in class.